Long after Indonesia fractured into separate nations, the country fell into a conflict known as the Great Tribe War. No one truly remembered how it started anymore. Some blame politics, others blame religion, most blame the tribe themselves. But the deeper the hatred spread across the archipelago, the more people began disappearing in silence. Entire villages vanished beneath the forests of Borneo, and somewhere during the war, something ancient awakened.
26 years after the war, Indonesia was no longer one country. Borneo megacity became the last big city in the central Kalimantan, built out ruins and forgotten graves, and under the city, a secret group still worked in silence, Black Forest. Nobody knew what the name really meant, but many rumors connected them to disappearances, war crimes, and human experiments. From the time of the Great Tribal War,
He's here! Close all the entrance! The guards raised their rifles toward the dark hallway ahead, their hands trembling beneath the flashing red lights. Then, a flash of steel cut through the darkness. The first guard's head hit the floor before the rest of his body could react. Gunfire erupted instantly.
blue guns light up the hallway for a moment, showing a figure moving between the bullets. Too fast, very fast. When the shooting stopped, only one guard was left standing, breathing hard, afraid. Then footsteps came from the smoke, slow, calm. A dark person walked out, carrying a long sword with blood. The lines on the weapon glowed softly under the emergency light. No! Stay back!
The old world was built with iron, long before your machines learned how to kill. When the lights returned, bodies covered the hallway. Beside them stood another man emerging slowly from the shadows. Unlike the guards, he carried no armor, only a dark coat decorated with old tribal patterns. And despite the blood surrounding him, he looked strangely calm.
You've built quite the reputation for yourself, the Black Mandau.
Mandau said nothing. The stranger stepped beside an old propaganda posters hanging on the wall. Unity in diversity, Indonesia. The same words faded now, nearly erased beneath scratches and bullet holes.
Funny, isn't it? People once believed this country would last forever. Deep inside the building, there were old war files hidden for many years. Military files, camera recordings, lists of missing people. But one part quickly caught Mandau attention: Project Talawang.
Inside were photographs of ancient tribal relics connected to strange machines and medical equipment. A Mandau blade, a Talawang shield, human anatomy sketches, ritual diagrams, and classified report.
They weren't studying weapons. They were trying to turn them into human.
Long before the Great Tribe War, the tribes of Borneo spoke of two sacred relics, the Mandau and the Talawang. The Mandau was believed to carry the spirits of judgment, a blade forged not only to kill, but to sever corruption from the world itself. The Talawang symbolized balance, protection, the boundary between humanity and the unseen world. The two relics were never meant to be separated, because according to the old tribal legends, without balance, the Mandau would eventually consume its wielders entirely. The recovered files pointed towards an abandoned BF facility, hidden deep within the forests of central Kalimantan. So Mandau and the stranger traveled upriver into the territory long erased from the maps. The further they traveled from Borneo megacity, the quieter the world became. Roads disappeared, cell signals vanished. Even the air itself felt different, heavy, ancient. The old boatman steering the vessel glanced nervously towards Mandau throughout the journey. Eventually, he spoke.
You too should turn back.
Why?
People disappear upriver. No animals leave bodies hanging from trees.
Hours later, they reach the abandoned settlement, or what remained of it. Rotting wooden houses stood half swallowed by vegetation, while rusted vehicles disappeared beneath vines and mud. Deep within the jungle stood the remains of an old black forest checkpoint, overtaken by forest itself. Something terrible had happened there years ago, and somehow the forest remembers it. Inside the underground facility, Mandao and the stranger discover skeletal remains scattered across the flooded corridors. Most carried deep cuts through their bones. No gunshots, not explosions, cuts clean enough to slice through steel. They found her! A figure stood motionless along the broken walkway, overlooking the chamber. Rainwater dripped through the collapsed ceiling behind her, while shadows concealed most of her face. And strapped across her back was a shield, a talawang. The woman slowly stepped into the dim light. Pale scars stretched across her arms, like faded ritual markings, while faint carvings glowed beneath her skins. But her eyes never left Mandao. For several long seconds, neither of them spoke. Then finally, "You came back." Fragments of memory explode inside Mandao's mind. Rain, fire, a smaller hand gripping his tightly, while screams echoed through the forest. The woman slowly descended the staircase towards them. The stranger immediately raised his pistols. "Don't come any closer!" But she ignored him completely. Her eyes remained fixed on Mandao. Then, "You shouldn't point weapons at family." Later, Talawang explained what Black Forest had done during the war. The organization had attempted to merge ancient relics with human vessels through ritual experimentation. Most subjects died. Others lost their minds entirely. Only two survived, Mandao and Talawang. But unlike Mandao, Talawang still remembered fragments of their past. She remembered the experiments, the screaming. Dr. Arvin, the man responsible for Project Talawang. After Talawang's short story and explanation, Mandao went off to cool off his head. Talawang followed right behind him. "You're letting the blade control you." "They deserve to die." "And after that?" Mandao remained silent. Talawang looked towards the wrapped blade resting beside him. "The Mandao feeds on hatred. That's what Black Foresters wanted." "I don't care." Somewhere within the fractured remains of Indonesia, Black Forest still survives in the shadows, and the deeper Mandao chase revenge, the more the ancient blade consumes him. Because the Mandao was never truly a weapon. It was a test, and hatred was always the prize.